It is about our impact on the environment and our communities. We owe it to future generations to leave things a little better than the way we found them. That means we should leave the smallest footprint possible, whatever we are doing, whether working, resting, or recreating. That sort of stewardship applies to our company, too. That's why we have devoted a sizable portion of our philanthropic giving to wetlands preservation and land conservation. That is why we supported legislation to clean up coal ash ponds in Virginia. That is why we're moving to extend our nuclear licenses, ensuring that that source of round-the-clock, zero-carbon power is in place for many decades to come. That is why we have committed to reducing carbon emissions by 55% by 2030 and methane emissions by 65% by the end of this decade and 80% by 2040. And that is why we are investing in natural gas infrastructure, an essential partner to enable us to grow aggressively our portfolio of wind and solar power. A sustainable company, as I see it, is one that adapts to challenges and weathers the storm, and one that is nimble enough to recognize that what is good for the environment and our customers and communities is also good for our employees and for you, our shareholders. Climate change has been around for a long time. We know it is occurring. We know that if action evades us, irreversible damage can be done. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has determined that combined land and sea surface warming must be limited to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by 2050 to minimize effects on people, ecosystems, and livelihoods around the world. That would likely require net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. But equally as important, we are focused on reducing carbon and methane emissions as much as possible and as fast as possible. We are not waiting at Dominion until 2040 to get started. We're taking action now by voluntarily reducing emissions and setting specific goals for our operations. Dominion has committed to achieving net zero emissions from carbon and methane by 2050. We have a history of voluntarily reducing emissions. From 2005 to 2018, which is the last year we have full information, we reduced carbon dioxide emissions from our power stations by about half, and that is twice as much as the utility industry average. And since 2010, we have reduced methane emissions from our gas infrastructure by nearly 25%, which is far more than all of the other members of the industry. But as we looked to the future, it became clear that we could do more. That is why we committed to net zero. Net zero raises the bar, a significant expansion from our previous goals, and one that I know we can reach. It will be very difficult for a company like ours to be 100% carbon or methane free based on the nature of our businesses and our asset mix. Although the recently enacted Virginia Clean Economy Act certainly helps enable us to do so on carbon, at least in Virginia. But we can, through a combination of direct action, like our nation's leading renewable natural gas business. That program removes greenhouse gases from the atmosphere when it is used in homes and businesses. We will also invest in environmentally beneficial initiatives, such as reforestation, effectively netting out the impact of our emissions on the environment. That is what we are striving for. We are not the first to embrace net zero within the utility sector. But what sets us apart is our commitment to reduce carbon and methane emissions in both our power generation and gas operations. It is important to recognize that we are not doing this because of some government mandate. We are reaching for this goal because that is what our employees and our customers want us to do. Delivering on this goal, while also not losing sight of our promise to deliver energy safely, reliably, and affordably, will require technology advancements and broader investments across the economy. Investments in energy storage, hydrogen, advanced nuclear and carbon capture, among other things, all of which have the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly. And it will require supportive government action and complementary policies at the federal and state level, something that does not exist right now, except perhaps for new laws in Virginia that will take effect July 1 this year. But I am confident we will get there. Progress is made when policymakers, businesses, and NGOs collaborate. While some issues will need to be solved on a longer horizon, we know we can make a difference by taking direct action now. Actions really do speak louder. For example, our new office tower in Richmond is certified LEED Gold with efficient use of energy, water, and natural sunlight, electric vehicle charging stations, and a 1-acre garden terrace. We expect other new buildings and remodels will be constructed with energy efficiency in mind. We're also taking steps to electrify our light-duty road fleet